Hi everyone, kind of an informal video today. A few things. Many of you ask questions at the end of your log on the last part of The World Must Know. And I tried to answer some of them in my feedback rather than address them as a whole class, although a few things I do want to mention. Many of you wanted to know how people adjusted emotionally. And I can't type this one. Okay. And one book that's good to read is Prisoner of Her Past, A Son's Memoir. And it is about a man who thought his mom was kind of normal until he grew up and found out really she kind of wasn't. She stayed up all night guarding the house. She always had locks on the doors. But then after her husband died, she really went into what they called a PTSD state. It's an interesting book. You hear a lot about her past, which is familiar to you, but you also hear a lot about what her life was like after. Also, she has, I think this is in Prime Video, or is in Amazon Video, and yeah, it is. And that's another way to do it. If you're a member of Fandor, one thing you can just do is watch it first. Get your 7-day trial and watch it. It is well worth watching. I didn't include it in the class because it is a difficult video to get to and to be able to see. But it's something that you should think about. Also, a lot of you talked about the Nuremberg trials, or about the trials of the criminals, or why they didn't get captured. And you have to realize Europe was in disarray, chaos after the war, during the war. As the U.S. marched from the east and the Russians came in from the west, they were liberating places, but there just wasn't enough forces to keep order. People found their homes were damaged, not just Jews, but any American, or excuse me, any European. Many of them were homeless. You've got Jews being released from camps with no place to go. Someone asked, well, how did they know where the displaced persons camps were? They were strategically placed around roads and crossroads, and word of mouth got people to them. The Red Cross was important in organizing them and keeping a list of prisoners and putting boards up in major cities about where people were, who people were looking for. It's an interesting time period, one we don't have really time for in this class. But if you're interested to, dig into it a little deeper. You only have a log to complete this week on Schindler's List. This is a video you must purchase. You can find it in, I found it in Walmart and video bins, but there's lots of places where you can find it. I am asking you to discuss it this week. And what I'm asking to do is to play with some of the film terminology on the discussion board. There's only a discussion board, there's no log. I'm trying to kind of, because it's so long, just give you one place to do things. So I'd like you to work on this, how to discuss a film as literature, talking about the different parts of the film, using different terminologies. This is the information that I would want you to read. Gives you a glossary of film terms. I have some here that are important, to you, or you can go to the actual list and look at others. Also, this is information about the film itself. Now, this is what you need to do is refer to the list of terms and describe one scene that in one way touched you using the terms. Now, don't choose the scene with the girl in the red coat. Everybody wants to choose it, and there'll be nothing to discuss if everybody talks about the girl in the red coat. Now, there's a video here that you can watch where I give an example of how to create one of these posts. And then, of course, you're going to read your classmates' post. You only need to reply to one. Last week, you only needed to reply to one, and some of you did more than you needed to do. So don't put excess burden on yourself. If you have any questions, as usual, you know where to find me, and I'm happy to answer them. Thanks for good logs last week, and thanks for a good discussion.